Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. As we think about the story of David and Goliath, there is, of course, a common and a very good analogy that is made with this story. We read about David going up against this giant that everyone else was afraid of, and he ends up slaying the giant by placing his trust in God. And a common application of this would be that whenever we're faced with giants, we can overcome them by placing our faith in God, and that we should not be afraid of the giants that come, those things, those circumstances in our life that are bigger than us and stronger than us. We just place our trust in the Lord, and we can overcome these giants that enter our path. And that's a very good application to make. That's a very good thought to walk away with the story of David and Goliath. But we also need to consider a particular detail of the story that's important as well. And that is that David intentionally and purposely went up against this giant. In other words, it's not that David was just walking along, minding his own business, and lo and behold, a giant stepped in his path and he had to place his faith in God and overcome the giant. No, David went after the giant. When everyone else was afraid of the giant, David placed his trust in the Lord, and he went straight to the giant and overcame the giant. And so what that does is it brings into sharper focus, the application that we can make in our lives. And the application that we can make is that we shouldn't be afraid to do hard things. It's one thing to just be living life and then hard things show up and we just happen to stumble across difficult circumstances in which we trust the Lord. It's a whole nother thing to actually go into circumstances as directed by the Lord, and to do those willingly and purposely and intentionally, trusting in the Lord. That takes even more faith, because that's stepping into the hardship. That's stepping into the difficulty, into the trial, and doing it, placing trust in the Lord. And so this story, yes, teaches us that as we're going along in life and difficult circumstances arise, we trust in the Lord and we can overcome these things by placing our trust in God. But it's also an encouragement for us to try hard things. Oftentimes we back down from doing things for the Lord, even though the Lord is clearly pointing us in a specific direction. It can be that we would want to back down from those things, thinking, well, it's too difficult. I don't have the right resources. I'm not the person fit for the job. And we can make a lot of excuses not to go in the direction that God is calling us to go. But this story ought to encourage us to run towards the giant, to go towards those hard places in life that God is calling us, trusting in the Lord, not backing down, not being distrustful or wanting to turn around and run away, but to go into the hard things and not to back down, and to cultivate this this disposition within us that says, I'm willing to go in the dark places. I'm willing to go into the hard places, into the difficult places. I'm willing to go in where there's trials, where there's challenges, so that I can fulfill God's will in my life. And I do it trusting in the Lord, knowing that He will help me overcome in those particular situations. And so today, as we do our reading today, yes, let's be encouraged to overcome those obstacles that randomly come into our lives as we're just trying to get through our day-to-day activities. But let's also be encouraged to do hard things for the Lord. Let's be encouraged to run into the face of adversity for the sake of the Lord, trusting in the Lord, knowing that He can bring us through. What He takes us to, He can bring us through. And again, this story encourages us in that way. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.